On behalf of League of Architects Pakistan, I would like to welcome you all to this webinar to discuss Alfozan Award for Mosque Architecture. We have a large audience on Facebook, on the Lead page, watching us live. And well, I must say this is the first attempt that we have done of sort of doing a webinar. And I think thanks to coronavirus, we were compelled to go live like this. But it's a great opportunity because we have, on this screen, we have people sitting in 4 different countries in 4 different time zones. So thank you all for coming. Let me introduce all our guests to our viewers on the page. We have on the bottom right, we have Dr. Fuad Malik, who is from Bangladesh, as you can see from his flag. Dr. Fuad Malik is the Dean of Architecture and Design, Faculty of Architecture and Design at BRAC University in Dhaka. And he's a seasoned academician. He has he did his PhD from the Architectural Association School of Architecture in London, and he has his Masters in Architecture from Newcastle University in the UK. And a lot of other feathers in his cap, but I think because of shortage of time, I won't go into all of that. On the top left corner is Gemma El Jadiak. She's from Lebanon. Gemma is a practicing architect and an academician, and as you can see in her logo, she teaches at the Lebanese American University, and she's been practicing. And she also has the honor of collaborating with Shigeru Ban, who's a Pritzker Prize winner, on some projects. So that's a big achievement, Gemma. Thank you for coming. And on the bottom left is architect Sundas Ashi, who's joining us from Saudi Arabia. Sundas is, she works for Alfozan Award for Architecture as organizer of the portal, and supervisor of the portal and organizer of the award. And she's been with the award for some time. And she has a Masters of Architecture degree from the Academy of Art in San Francisco, USA. Now, the common thing about all of us, okay, I am Hamad Hussain. I am an architect. I am president of the League of Architects Pakistan, and also an practicing architect and an academician. So all of us have been associated with the Alfozan Award for Mosque Architecture, which is essentially a Saudi organization started around 9 years ago. But without going into details, I think I will ask architect Sundas Ashi, who works for Alfozan Award, to give us a little introduction and a little background to this award and why it was formed and what was the objectives. Sundas, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Architect Hamad, and hello, everybody. So I'll introduce AFAMA, our Abdullatif Alfozan Award. It's called Abdullatif Alfozan Award for Mosque Architecture. It started 2011, targeting the architecture, urban, and technical aspects of mosques all over the world. It started by its founder, Sheikh Abdullatif Alfozan. He's a businessman from Saudi Arabia. Started the foundation. He wanted to do something for God. So he started this foundation and charity work for God's houses. The headquarters of the award is in Saudi Arabia, and it's a 3-year award. So it gives the award every 3 years. And now we are in our 4th cycle. It will start at 2020 and it will end at 2023.
Okay, thank you, Sundar, that was a very interesting and inspiring edition. And you see, why this award is so important is because this is the first time such a prestigious, important award has been instituted by a Muslim country for the Muslims and for a building type which is unique to the religion of Islam. Mosque is the only building which is only unique to Islam. And up till now, in the last, should I say, 1400 years, there's been no award or there's been no attempt to bring forth or bring to the front this important building type. And it is a great step by Alfozan Foundation to try and bring this important building type to the front. And we hope that a lot of people will from all over the world will start participating. So, Sundar, I would also like to ask if you could just brief our audience who are watching this live discussion on Facebook, if you could tell them a little about the founder and the management of Alfozan Award for Architecture. Who's managing this?
Okay, so the founder is, as I said, is Sheikh Abdullatif Alfozan. He is a businessman and he lives in Saudi Arabia. He lives in Khobar. And the people who are managing is a executive committee, which are part of them are from the family itself, and part of them are big architects and businessmen from Saudi Arabia. Also, it is managed by the General Secretary, who is Dr. Mshari al-Naim, and under him there is the team of the award. And the founder did this because he wants to do something for charity. He wants to do something for God. So he did it to help God's houses and to develop the contemporary designs of mosques. Also to encourage the architects to create new mosque designs in the world.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Mashari Al-Naim is the Secretary General, as Architect Sundar just told you. Dr. Mashari is a very seasoned academician, and he's been teaching in Saudi Arabia and other places. So he's basically the engine behind this award. And I've had the pleasure of meeting many of the team members. Dr. Hani Al-Hunaidi is also part of the team in a senior position. Sundar, yourself, and very energetic Muhammad Al-Ghunaymi is part of the team, and many other. It's a wonderful team, and I think they are doing a great job. And we really want young Pakistani architects and even middle-aged or senior architects to start submitting their entries to this award. And because last time we will come to that, there weren't many entries from Pakistan. And in fact, Dr. Fuad was there. There were 5 shortlisted mosques from Bangladesh. And I think, I don't know the results as yet because the award has not announced it, but I think that at least 2 or 3 of those Bangladeshi mosques will be probably part of the top 6. Am I right, Dr. Fuad?
I hope so, certainly.
I think 1 or 2 of the entries were by architects who also won the Aga Khan Award.
Yes, yes, 2 of them, Marina Tabassum and Kashif Chaudhary, who won the Aga Khan Award. One of them was for a mosque. Marina won it for a mosque, and Kashif won it for a design of a NGO center.
Okay.
This year also we won an award from Bangladesh.
Okay, so yes, it was very it was very heartening to see, and in fact some of the mosques, maybe 1 or 2 of the mosques that were from Bangladesh, they were in very low cost areas, and they were very low cost mosques. They were not very high.
That's right. No, not at all.
So that is a question that a lot of people have in their minds. Many young architects have messaged me that what kind of mosques is the award looking for? I mean, are they small? They are cheap, big, large, what? So this, could you just brief a little bit before we get on to Gemma?
Okay, I will give you a brief about the categories that we're using. So we started the cycle. The first cycle was in Saudi Arabia, and the second cycle was in the Saudi and the Islamic Gulf and the Gulf area. Sorry, and the third cycle was for the Islamic area. The categories that we use is that the central mosques and the neighborhood mosques and Jum'ah mosques. So it is categorized by 3 categories. But now in our fourth cycle, we added 2 other kind of mosques that we want people to engage in the fourth cycle. Actually, the 200, okay, the third cycle 200 mosques were chosen, and 27 mosques were chosen, were nominated, and 10 mosques will be winning the award, of course, after Corona, after we're done from Corona. So yes, so we have 3 kind of types: central mosque, neighborhood, and Jum'ah mosque. The reason why we wanted, for example, we chose the central mosque. Central mosque usually is a big mosque where you see many activities. You can see classrooms, you can see libraries, you can see it's a huge mosque. It's a big mosque. The neighborhood mosque is a smaller mosque where you can find the community is engaged in the neighborhood mosques, like Marina Tabassum's mosque. The third one is the Jum'ah mosque, is in the middle. It's not a big mosque. It doesn't have lots of functions, but at the same time, we can say it's a weekly mosque that people come and celebrate of course our Jum'ah prayer.
Okay. So basically, if I repeat that, the award is divided into 3 categories. One is the central mosque, which is the large mosque, and then there is the Jummah mosque, which is sort of intermediary size, and then there's the neighborhood mosque, which is a small mosque.
Yes, correct.
Right?
Correct.
So I think our audience would love to know that this award encompasses all mosques that are built. It doesn't matter the size, it doesn't matter the cost, it doesn't matter how fancy or simple it is. As long as it is a mosque, the award, Alfozan award, will consider that in one of the categories. So I'm addressing anyone who's listening to this, that if you have built a mosque, of course it has to be built. Am I right in this? You cannot submit conceptual mosques, right? It has to be a built mosque.
It has to be built, and it has to be in the fourth cycle. We engaged 2 other kind of mosques, which are the prayer hall, which is the musalla, the small musallas. Maybe you can find it in a mall, or it's a small musalla, okay. And the 5th one is the smart mosques. It's something new. It's something about the future. It's something where thinking out of the box in a way. So this is the smart mosque.
So sorry to cut you. The smart mosque also has to be a built project, or can it be a conceptual?
No, it has to be. It has to be used. It has to be built.
Okay. Because if I remember correctly, and I think I will ask architect Gemma that because I was also a technical reviewer in the 3rd cycle. Dr. Fuad Malik was a technical reviewer. Gemma Shidyak was also a technical reviewer. So Gemma, could you please enlighten our audience as to what does the award want you as a technical reviewer to judge the mosque on? I mean, what are the categories that they are looking for? Because this will, I'll tell you why I'm asking this question. Because a lot of people have asked me if conceptual mosques, which are not built, are part of it. So if you tell us the categories or the factors on which mosques are to be judged, that will, I think, clarify a lot of things.
Thank you, Hamad. Basically, I had the honor to participate as a technical reviewer with Alfozan Award, and the criteria that were set when they actually gave us the mosques that were determined for us to go visit, they were basically set for us in different countries. Therefore, no technical reviewer had a mosque in their own country to look at. So the credibility here is high. That the technical reviewer does not have a personal attachment to any of the mosques or a personal attachment to an architect. So it's quite transparent on that end. Then the technical reviewer is designated as a country where a few mosques would be nominated. And the criteria that was set is, first, you have to go visit the office and the mosque as well. So the office meaning the architect, the thinking process, getting all the information, the architectural drawings and all that. But the main criteria that once we retrieved all the architectural drawings were set in 9 points. And the 9 points are as follows. So the first point was the connection with the surroundings. So it's very important to understand what kind of connection or how the implementation was set. The second one was the visual correspondence of the mosque with the physical environment. So how was it visually? Is it actually gated? There is no visual access. How do we see this mosque? How do we approach this mosque? This was another point, number 2. Number 3, the innovative architecture. So looking at structure, technical solutions, architecture, structure, and any technical solutions that are there. 4th point is the compliance with principles of sustainability. And when we say principles of sustainability, that means on urban level, social level, and on architectural level, the technical level. 5th point is the quality of interior space. So it does not only refer to the architecture from the exterior point of view, but the whole from exterior to interior. The quality of the landscape, this is the 6th point. The quality of the landscape and the public spaces that it surrounds or engages with, or it actually participated or recreated. The 7th point is accessibility, and this is a notion of sustainability that is we look at it quite high. So how do we access? Do we have handicapped access and what so forth? Number 8 is the expanded role of the mosque, and therefore we mean by the expanded role of the mosque is that what other alternatives do we have rather than just a prayer hall? Is it a community service? Does it allow for us to have a library, an education field? So what is the expanded role of it? What is the secondary role of it other than prayers? And then the 9th point and the last point is the management and the maintenance, which is very important to see how they manage and maintain it. The architecture might, when you start with it or when it is first built, would be perfect and really nice and well maintained, and then suddenly the community does not engage with it and or does not like it, and then it becomes left or non-sustained or not looked at. And this really tells you whether the community actually liked it and therefore is managing it very well or maintaining it, and the relevance of the community with this building on various levels. So we really approach the project and we report it from an urban level, a social level, and from an architecture and interior level.
That's a very long list. 9 points.
Yes.
So our audience, now you know that why we cannot have a conceptual mosque, because there are so many factors that are analyzed by the technical reviewer and by the master jury, after which they decide which mosque is to be selected for the award. So just a few that Gemma said, because by the way, we are recording this. We're recording this on Facebook. We're recording this on Zoom also. So this video will be available for anyone who wants to learn about the 9 points that architect Gemma listed. But as you can see, it has things like sustainability and accessibility and structure and user feedback, etc. So there are so many things which cannot be on a mosque which is not built. Dr. Fuad, you went to Indonesia to technically review, I believe, 2 mosques. And
3 actually.
3 mosques, I'm sorry. And all 3 of them were in Indonesia. So, and 2 mosques, I also reviewed 3 mosques. 1 was in Malaysia and 2 were in Indonesia. So that means there were 5 mosques from Indonesia which were shortlisted among the 27 mosques. And there were 5 from Bangladesh. So that means out of 27, 10 mosques were from just these 2 countries.
That's right. Yes.
Wow. And yeah, as I said, out of this, in this list of 27, there was none from Pakistan, unfortunately. But inshallah, in the coming 4th cycle, I hope that out of the 27 shortlisted mosques, inshallah, 26 will be from Pakistan. Okay, maybe that's an exaggeration, but hopefully at least 5.
Some of the mosques were in the 200 from Pakistan. It was from the long list from the 200 mosques. So, inshallah, in the 4th cycle, Pakistan would be in the shortlisted.
Inshallah. Well, a lot of people are viewing this, and we will be circulating this video. So, hopefully, many of our young and mid-career architects will be motivated to send them off, because a lot of people have designed some very good mosques in Pakistan, all the way from the north, from Peshawar to Lahore, Islamabad, Karachi, and even small cities. Some very good mosques have been designed, but somehow, we as a nation don't advertise so much. We don't print, we don't publish. So I think this is a great opportunity for youngsters to promote their designs.
Yes, of course, because one of the main objectives of the award is encouraging the architects to create new mosque designs and to define and show that the mosque is not only a place where you can go and pray. No, it's a spiritual thing. It's the main icon of Islam. So this is the main objective, and I hope all people and all architects should understand the aim of the award and collaborate with us.
Thank you. Okay, Dr. Fuad, do you have a photograph of one of the mosques that if you could show it on the screen?
I do.
What was the name of the mosque?
Al-Irshad Mosque in Bandung. Wait a minute, just a minute. I will try to get that. I'll share the screen, and I will share it with one of the shot that I think it makes it more interesting than others. Now, how do I get back to? Just a minute. I'll share my screen first, and then I will. You see this? Is it on the screen?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay. Seems to be a problem there, but
okay, so what we can do is, Fuad,
there's
while we are negotiating,
as I try to yeah.
While we are negotiating with the technical stuff, maybe Gemma, you can.
Yeah.
Gemma, you technically reviewed how many mosques? You went to Turkey, if I'm not wrong.
I technically reviewed 2 mosques. One in Istanbul, which is the Sankaklar Mosque by Emre Arulat, which was recently awarded the Aga Khan Award, and it already has won 3 other prizes from 2013 till today. So I actually visited that one, and the other one was by Hilmi Gunur, which is the Moghul Lake Mosque, which is in Moghul Lake in Ankara.
Okay.
Which I had the privilege to actually see. Both mosques, I had the privilege to actually meet with the architects, discuss the concept and implementation, and visit the mosque. So I'm going to share with you just images of the Sankaklar Mosque. Okay,
Yes.
Can everyone see? Okay, so the Sankaklar Mosque, this is the one that's recently won the Aga Khan Award, which the architect was very happy to show the trophy at his office. So the Sankaklar Mosque is at the area of Istanbul. It's on the suburbs of Istanbul. And the interesting part of it is how it engages with the surrounding. This is the startup, and this is one of the compliances we were attending to explain. I was explaining that it's from start. So as you can see, the only thing that was there was the minaret, and the new concept that derived from it, or reinterpretation. There was a full reinterpretation of how to design the mosque. And so the architect, this was the first time the architect actually designed a mosque. So they were very critical about how they wanted to design, but they didn't want to keep on the classical Ottoman architecture vision in mind, but they studied all the vision. And they took into consideration, one of the criteria is that there was no architectural framework that defined a mosque, but rather it was more about any hygienic place would actually serve for any worshiper to pray. So with that notion, and with the idea of Prophet Muhammad having one of his big revelations in Mount Hira near Mecca, that he actually had one of the revelations in a cave-like structure. The architect Emre Arulat approached it with the surrounding, and it has a prairie surrounding. It approached it that it became borderless. So as you can see,
sorry, Gemma, sorry, I'm butting in. Just one second. Can you please show another image while we are watching? Do you have another image of this mosque?
Sure, of course. Yes. I'll just have to stop sharing, and I'll share a new share. Okay. All right. Next image. Okay. So this is how it cascades downwards and becomes part. So this is the engagement part with the surrounding and how it engages. So and then materials that were used, which were local and kind of indigenous material, and then the criteria we dealt with, as well as the landscape. So
Gemma, just 1 second. I'll be Dr. Fuad and Sundus. Can you see the second image?
Yes. Can you actually see it?
Okay. Because I can't see.
I can see the image. Yes.
Okay, it's a second image, right? Okay. The one from the quarter at the bottom. Yes. Right. Perfect. And then we deal with how you enter a quality of interior space, so quality of exterior, the public spaces, and then we enter to the quality of interior space and how the project actually transcends, or the spiritual experience transcends to the interior. So it's really about what is spiritual architecture and how can man-made and nature come together so they fuse together and become borderless. So this is an image of the interior where the liturgical elements, which are the minaret, the minbar and the mihrab, which we actually know are no longer classified as elements in space, but rather they become part of the wall, which is much more architectural and redefined. And to tell you the truth, the users and the worshippers are extremely happy with it, with the design. And during Friday prayer, the prayer hall extends to the exterior. And this is another image showing the spiritual space and the essence of spirituality and the humbleness of the space that increases the monumental experience. So people are very, very happy. I can say the worshippers were very happy with the result, and it really highlights the spirit of the place. And it's all about nourishing the spiritual existence and engaging with it. So it's no longer only about the architecture, but rather goes beyond the identification.
I think this is a very inspirational mosque, Gemma. Did this mosque get the Aga Khan Award, or was it some other mosque?
Yes, it did. No, this is the one who got the Aga Khan Award recently. Yeah.
Okay. So yes, I believe this mosque. Well, we don't know which mosques are shortlisted, and Sundas and Alfozan Award refused to tell us which mosques have been shortlisted. But hopefully, we will very soon see the winners, and let's see if this beautiful mosque by Emre Arulat is part of the winners. And Dr. Ford, did you manage to resolve the
Yes, I'm going to try now. Gemma, you're going to have to remove your thing. You've done that. Okay. Share screen. Where is it? Just a minute.
While you're Dr. Ford, I just wanted to ask Gemma. Gemma, did you meet Ertuğrul Ghazi in Turkey while you were there?
No, I didn't get a chance.
Come on, everybody wants to meet him. Next time you go, please check him out.
Yeah, it was kind of a short trip, but hopefully next time.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. I'm there. Can you see my thing? Can you see the
yes
presentation? Is it on the screen?
Yes, we can see.
That's the Al Irshad Mosque in Bandung in Indonesia. It's in Eastern Java. As you can see, this is a very simple mosque. It's a rectangular shape, and interestingly, it has two types of bricks in it. With it's Arabic in the Kulfic script, and it's got the name of Allah there. This is the plan of the mosque. Can you see the plan of the mosque?
Yes.
You see it's square, and it sits on a circular water body. All right. And I talked to the architect who designed this mosque, who actually is now a very important political person. He's the governor of Eastern Java. Previously, he was the mayor of Bandung, and as architect mayor, he did a lot for the city. Now, the concept of this mosque, according to him, was the tawaf around the Kaaba. So, as you see, the concept is very, very simple, and that's how it translates. As I said, it's a very, very simple-looking mosque. Unfortunately, the water body, part of it has been filled. But what is, for me, this is when you enter the mosque from the west, from the east. What was interesting was this image. Can you see this image?
Yes.
This is the Qibla wall. This is the direction of the Kaaba. And the architect keeps it open. All right. Now, traditionally, and I was going to say this, we have people, not only we, but people, even non-Muslims, have a stereotypical idea about a mosque. They think it's a square box with a dome, a couple of arches, and inside there is a mihrab wall, and it's shut from all sides. This mosque is not. The Qibla direction is open. And the architect, what he said was that when he came to the site, and on the Qibla side, there are hills. He said he came at sunset, and it was all red. And he thought to himself that he wanted the worshippers to see the marvel of Allah's creation. And therefore, he kept the Qibla wall open, and there's a water body on that. On that, you can see a metallic sphere on which is the name of Allah is written there. And at night, it glows. It glows. And it's a free-running building. It doesn't have any air conditioning. It doesn't have any doors. So it uses two kinds of blocks, a lighter gray and a darker gray. The darker gray has got holes in it. So in fact, it's a breathing wall. This is the inside of the mosque. and you can see how beautiful it is. It's got 99 lights in an area of 9 by 11, and each one of these lights has the 99 names of Allah on it.
Asma al-Husna.
That's right, Asma. Can you see that sphere illuminated at night in this picture? At the end, I'll take my cursor there. Can you see that thing?
Yes.
That is the cylinder that's illuminated at night, right? So you see a very simple concept, what I also looked at was as Gemma said, that the mosque does not necessarily have to be a place where you only pray, but it's a place for gathering. So when I was there on a Jummah on Jummah time, and this is like a festival, all the people were there, were eating, talking to each other, enjoying themselves. So the community aspect of it, you can see here children, women, men, all praying together. This is a dramatic picture. This is not my picture. I took it from somewhere else. So then again, those are the lights with the name of Allah. So basically, what I went to this place with the. Can I shut off the screen now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, because we need to talk. For me, the Alfozan Award represents something else. I mean, apart from the list 9 things that you are supposed to give in the report, I think what philosophically it looks at is how mosque structure can be innovative, and it is basically in the 9 points. In the 9 points, it's looking for architectural excellence. Basically, that's what it's looking for. For me, it was a journey to see how mosques can be different in the way it looks. Not only it looks, but the way it performs. For example, the mosque that I showed you is open on one side. Typically, we are used to going into a mosque which is closed on all sides, aren't we?
Yeah.
So we don't see anything else, all right? Whereas you know that churches, for example, Ando's Church on the Water or Philip Johnson's Crystal Cathedral, all that, they are, open and light. So there is no reason why a mosque can't be like that. I think this award, and when the prizes go up, is going to be an eye-opener and they can be very, very innovative in design. I mean, the other mosque I reviewed was Al Safar, which is entirely, it doesn't look like a mosque at all. It's a steel structure, tetrahedron. It's based on a base principle of Japanese origami and all that. I mean, if you want to see it, if you have time, you can see it later. But as I said, for me, it was looking for excellence in architecture, and it happened to be a mosque.
I think that is a very interesting point, Dr. Fuad, that you mentioned a mosque that does not look like a mosque. So should a mosque look like a mosque? I mean, that's a very philosophical question.
What does a mosque, ask yourself, yes. What does a mosque look like? Is it said anywhere in the Quran that a mosque must look like that? Yes. No, nowhere. It doesn't. There is no strict, the Quran doesn't give you architectural guidelines to design a mosque. True. It doesn't. Yeah.
Sundas, now this is a question that we would like to put to the Alfozan Award, and because you represent the award is not looking for a particular type of mosque, is it? I mean, when Dr. Fuad says that a mosque that does not look like a mosque, which means looking like a mosque, we're judging it from the traditional understanding of a mosque. And then because your award started in the 21st century and it's only assessing mosque of the 21st century. So when we say a mosque that does not look like a traditional mosque as in the populist mind, the award does not define what kind of mosque it's looking at, does it?
No, this is the beauty of the award. When you say the traditional mosque, we all know what is a traditional mosque. But as we started the award and as we started searching and people started to submit the mosques, we saw it from a different perspective. Some of them, like Sancaklar in Turkey, as architect Jama showed us, it's not a traditional mosques that we used to go to or we used to see. And as Dr. Fuad said, a Safar mosque is completely different. So this kind of award is looking for encouraging the architects for new designs and new contemporary designs, and to develop the contemporary designs in a different way. And this is the beauty of the award. Also, we will talk. I want to add I want to talk about the spiritual aspect. The spiritual aspect is very important in the award because it's a place to worship. So you need to feel the spirit, and it's two things. It's spirituality and architecture. So how can you combine these two together is our main goal or our main objective in the award. I want to just tell the audience, how did we end by choosing these mosques. First, the first step is the listing the long mosques, which are in the third cycle. It was 300. After that, we did our first jury, which was in Paris, in the UIA, the International Union of Architecture. So the jury, we met there, and we chose the 27 mosques. After that, we chose professional technical reviewers as architect Jama, Dr. Fuad, and architect Hamad. We used them. We chose them according to their history, their expertise, lots of categories, and then they go to the mosques that we chose. And then we did our second jury, which was in Malaysia. Plus, we did our conference in Malaysia. And the jury meets again and choose the mosque according to your visit and according to your reports. So then, at the end, there is a ceremony which was supposed to be in March. 22nd of March this year, but because of Corona, we didn't do it. But inshallah, hopefully, after Corona or after COVID-19, we will announce everything to the audience.
Yes, we were a bit disappointed because Dr. Fuad and myself, we were supposed to go to Saudi Arabia on the 26th of March. And everything was planned for the ceremony, and then, because of this Corona, it got cancelled, postponed. I hope it's postponed and not cancelled.
It's postponed.
It's postponed, yeah. So hopefully next month or maybe the month after that, we will go to the ceremony, and we will also get to know which of the 27 mosques are the winners, first, second, third, fourth, and so you just mentioned two very important words, spirituality and architecture, and how they can be merged. And I think if they are merged together, so it merges the function of the mosque with the building which houses that function. So very briefly, Gemma, can you throw some light on these two words, keeping in mind the Sancaklar Mosque in Istanbul by Andre Arulat, because it says that mosque has a feel of spirituality in it.
It does, and it had a big impact on me as a technical reviewer. Actually see it live and experience the spiritual experience that of transcendence and humbleness towards a monumental experience. So I agree with Sundus that it's all about the architecture, the man-made formed, and the natural and the spiritual. So in religion or in religion, basically we're searching for the conscience of self, and it's where architecture has to actually state that or bring it forward. So where can I find myself in the best space, best spiritual place where I can meditate regardless of religion, Muslims or non-Muslims. So I think this is where spiritual experience and architecture fuse together, and they bring along and they nourish your experience as a user. So really, it's not about rejecting the matter, but the matter complying, or the architecture complying to the spiritual. And this is where, when such fusion happens, it becomes borderless. So for me, the Sankakla Mosque initiated that, and we could see it from the community. It really ignited that. People came back to it every single day, especially on Friday prayers. And furthermore, as a first-time visitor and as a technical reviewer, it was magnificent to see that it does not actually sit only in architectural photographs, but yet actually you can experience it and you can have a spiritual essence out of it.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. While we are at it, I think we don't have too much time, so we will be wrapping up in another 10 minutes or so. I would like to request all those who are watching right now, and I can see it on Facebook here. So it's going live. So all those who are watching, first of all, thank you all who are watching, and I hope you're enjoying, and I hope our valued guests are adding to your knowledge about mosques and the award. If you have any questions, unfortunately, you can't ask live questions because right now we are sitting in Zoom and it's being streamed through somewhere to Facebook. So if you want to ask a question, why don't you ask your question in the Facebook window, and I will read that and I will put it across to our valued guests as soon as possible because we don't have too much time. Okay, so while our audience is writing questions, I would like to ask Dr. Fuad. Now, Dr. Fuad Malik has been associated with the Aga Khan Award for Architecture for a long, long time. I don't know, since probably 1800s or something. Am I right?
Years.
Fuad?
13 years.
Over a century, at least.
13.
Yeah, okay.
No.
So, and then you've been with the award. What was your experience about writing your report about the mosque and then presenting it to the jury in Kuala Lumpur? Can you very briefly explain the process of how the process is done? Because we want to we want our audience to see how transparent the process of selection is.
Well, the report, as Gemma mentioned, contains a number of points which is given to the jury beforehand. So the jury actually reads that, and what the reviewer presents is, I think the reviewer is expected to present his or her experience of the mosque, touching upon the points that are in the report. But since they are on the report, you need not, repeat them. But if the juror, any of the jury members has a point to clarify or clarification, then the jury member can ask you that question. But I think as a reviewer, my issue was to present to the reviewer the mosque I reviewed in a very, how should I say this, in a very neutral way. I did not go in front of the jury to promote the mosque that I reviewed. I basically went there and spelled out the salient feature and the qualities that attracted me or didn't attract me. I mean, there are mosques, I reviewed one mosque which didn't actually attract me at all. So I present to the jury what I saw in the mosque, touching upon the points of the report and more than that. So I try to give my interpretation of how I felt about the mosque, or how I put it in the context of the architecture of Mosque A, and B, how I put it in the context of contemporary architecture as a whole. And Hamad, may I share a slide from the Al Safar Mosque that will show you, okay? Just a minute. I can, okay, share screen. There you are. Can you see?
Yes.
Can you see the drawing of the mosque? Just a minute. I'm trying to get it. Can you see the drawing or
Yes.
not?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's not coming to the full screen. Sorry about that, but somehow I'm not being able to drag this. I am screen sharing. But can you see a bit of it anyway on the side?
Yes.
You can see it, right? Yeah.
Well,
See how different it is.
Yes. Yes.
Can you see how different it is?
Yes, absolutely.
It's as I said, the concept is Japanese origami, all right?
Okay.
And it's as if it is made of folded paper. I wish I could get. Is it filling up your screen, or is it only on one corner? Because it's in only one corner in mine.
No, it's a full screen, and in the middle of the screen is the drawing.
Full screen, good, great. So this is what the mosque looks like, and see how it's derived. It's a very strong structural concept, all right, of triangles, all right. And interestingly enough, while I was there was a controversy about this mosque. Some of the religious people in Indonesia, I mean the religious clergy, sort of filed a suit against the architect Ridwan Kamil, saying that he had taken shapes and symbols from the Illuminati. You know, Illuminati, the secret organization, all that. And there's a big argument, but eventually Ridwan Kamil could convince them that it was not that, but it was basically it could be, a mosque could be of this shape, and he convinced them, and the case was dropped. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. See, and this is the mihrab. So as I was saying, when we go to the jury panel, the report is there for them to read, and they have read it before they come to the jury, and we give our interpretation of what we think of the mosque. For example, in this mosque, I said it's an innovative structure, and it utilizes the structure, and from the outside it expresses the structure, which is one of the idioms of modern architecture, if you like. So basically, I'll stop sharing now. Basically, the jurors, I think, are looking at you to explain to them why this mosque should be given an award without you actually saying that. Did I make myself clear?
Yeah.
You don't say that give the award to this mosque, but you convince them in a way to give the award, or perhaps in some cases not to give the award.
So it's like I'll give you an analogy. It's like the thesis jury, or it's like the project jury that we have in a B-Arch program, where you do a project, and then there's a jury in front of you, and you try and convince the jury why this project is good. The only difference is that in the awards case, the technical reviewer is supposed to give a very true picture of the mosque. Like as you said, you were not convinced yourself about one of the mosques you judged. So you gave a very true picture, the good points and the negative points, so that the jury has,
and let the jury decide,
the facts to make a decision, right?
Yes.
And so very briefly, I would like to add that the process of going about is that, Sundar, please correct me wherever if I'm wrong. I'll very briefly list down that entries are sent by architects who've designed the mosque. They sent them to the award secretariat, and then they are shortlisted through a process, which is, I don't know what the process is, so this will guide us. But once they are shortlisted, then the award secretariat nominates a certain number of technical reviewers from different countries. And then each reviewer goes to judge a mosque in some other country, and he is not allowed to judge a mosque in his own country because of transparency, right? Like I went to Malaysia and Indonesia. Dr. Fuad he's from Bangladesh, he went to Indonesia. Gemma is from Lebanon, she went to Turkey. And similarly, we had technical reviewers from Morocco, from Syria, and from Kuwait, and from many countries we had technical reviewers, and they all went to different countries. And then once we go there, we're supposed to analyze the mosque, take photographs, talk to the architect, talk to the community, and just build up an opinion. Then, as technical reviewers, we were supposed to write a detailed report on every mosque and outlining all the 9 points that Gemma mentioned a while ago. So we have to analyze the mosques in those categories. Then those reports are submitted to the award secretariat, and the award secretariat nominates a jury of very accomplished people from the field. And I think our jury had architects, and it had a philosopher, it had a historian, it was from all over the world. And then the technical reviewers present their report in the form of the jury that I just mentioned to the jury, and then they decide. That's the process, more or less, right? So I'm sure the audience would appreciate that it is an extremely transparent process, and there's no chance that things like favoritism or nepotism can come in, because there are so many people involved, and they all go from one country to the other, and then they present it to a jury which is from some other part of the world, and and it's not just one person, there are multiple people, and then they decide collectively, and eventually they decide the winners. Whether it's 1 or 2 or 3, we don't know how many there will be, but that is the prerogative of the award secretariat of how many awards they want to give. So do you want to add something to this process, to this, or was it clear?
No, I think it's clear, but I want to talk about the 4th cycle and how can people apply or can participate or register. Okay.
So we have some questions coming up, and I got a very I got a message from our friend Abdurrahman from the award, and he said your mute is not working, so stop talking to other people, so I'm sorry if I was talking to other people and the mute is not working. Abdurrahman, thank you very much for pointing it out. Thank God I didn't say something wrong, or did I?
No, you're fine.
Okay, so there's a question we have from one of our senior architects, and he says, how is Alfozan Award different in concept in relation to other reputable awards such as the Aga Khan Award or the Pritzker Award? How is Alfozan Award different from Aga Khan and Pritzker Award?
Okay.
Yeah, so this, and then maybe Dr. Fuad can shed some light on it, because you've been, Dr. Fuad, you've been with Aga Khan Award also. So this, please.
Okay. So Alfozan Award is first of all, it's specialized in the mosques. Aga Khan is not only it's not specialized in one building. So it's specialized about mosques. It is everything about the mosque, not only the traditional mosque. And the award is different in a way that it's telling a new thing about mosques. For example, me myself, I didn't know the huge amount of categories of mosques that we have all over the place or all over the world. For example, some of them they don't have a minaret. Some of them the architecture is different. So this is the spirit or the how the award is different, showing the architecture of the mosque from different perspectives from all over the world. I want to say I want to talk about the fourth cycle. The theme of the fourth cycle. The fourth cycle is about the living mosque. So the theme is you wouldn't think about what is a living mosque. How can you say that this mosque is a living mosque? So the award is giving you a building from so many perspectives, from different perspectives, from different architects, different designs. So I think this is how is the award different than the other awards.
Okay, I think that makes a lot of sense. Dr. Fawad, would you like to add something to it?
Well, I mean, Sundar said it. I mean, the Alfozan Award is for mosques only, whereas the Aga Khan Award is for architecture. Aga Khan, it's called Aga Khan Award for architecture. In the beginning, it was sort of kind of architecture in Islamic countries, but now it is spread. For example, in 2010, I reviewed a tiny school in China, in Sichuan province of China, which is a school in China, and it won the award. All right. And the Aga Khan Award also extends to urban design, urban projects. For example, in the first cycle, one of the awards was given to slum development in Indonesia. So
Yeah.
Aga Khan is wider. The Pritzker Prize is architect specific. It's not given to a building. It's given to an architect for a lifetime achievement in architecture.
So
that's so. We with Alfozan, it's mosque. In Aga Khan, it's architecture, and Pritzker is the architect.
Just out of curiosity, how many mosques have been given the Aga Khan Award up till now?
I don't remember, but there's one in Pakistan which was given, the Bhong Mosque.
Bhong Mosque was given.
Marina Tabassum's mosque was given the award. Emre Alorat's mosque was given an award.
Right.
And there was one by Abdul Wahid Al Wakil, the Cornish Mosque in Kuwait, I think. That's all I can remember.
Right.
But if you go to the website, click on mosques that won the award, the whole list will come up.
Okay. So in that way, Alfozan is a very focused approach, which is only dealing with mosques. So there will be a lot of mosques which will be getting awards in every cycle, and it's not just the mosques which win the award. It is also all those shortlisted mosques. They are being published. They are being branded about. So they will all be all these good designs will be sort of shortlisted and published. So they will come to the forefront. I think that will be the biggest issue.
There are two issues here. One is I wouldn't say negative. One is restrictive. The other is opportunistic. One is you might run out of mosques to give awards to, right? Okay. On the one hand. On the other hand, this will encourage architects to design newer type of mosque with excellence in architecture. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for architects now who will design mosque in a new way. And I'm also looking at my classroom, because I'm an academic, for my students to see that you can do a mosque any way you like. I mean, for example, just maybe a roof and nothing else.
Yeah. Right. And I think the expanded role of mosque, Gemma, that you mentioned in one of those lines, the expanded role of mosque, I think that is very important. And when I was presenting my mosque to the jury, so this question was, I felt it was very important, that is the mosque only for praying, or does it have an expanded role like it used to be in the initial days of Islam, when mosque was more of a community center and it had a lot of other functions. So, Gemma, how important is this expanded role of mosque concept? And did you see it in any of the mosques?
Yes, I think when I visited the two mosques in Turkey, both of them, whether they were both fulfilling a community service. And it's very important to engage them after prayer. So prayer is like during prayer, but the time between prayer, what happens there? How does the building engage with the community? Does anything happen then? And it's really important to really know that the building and the mosque is not happening only at that moment of prayer, but rather it extends towards a full daily schedule on a full week. And this is where I think sustainability on the social run is utmost very important to see.
Okay, very interesting. I think before we wrap up, there's a very small topic that I would like to ask Sundus about. We have already, audience, we have already shared the website of Alfozan Award. It's alfozanaward.org. You can visit that website, and what very interesting thing that you will see on the front page is the Mosquepedia. Sundus, what is Mosquepedia?
Okay, I want to share the screen so everyone can follow up. Okay, so can you see it?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so this is our main landing page where you can find, here is the landing page. You can, all news and everything is on the landing page. And then here you can see our 4 or 5 projects: Asfar, Mosquepedia, Manabir, VCO, and CMBC. Asfar is our digital library. I will show it to you.
Is it accessible to anyone who wants to access?
Yes, yes, of course.
Okay.
It's in Arabic and English.
Okay. We don't have to pay for it, right?
No, you don't have to pay.
Okay, thank you.
So these are, Asfar has so many categories, as you can see, books, and it has other categories: articles, documents, videos, images, art and craft, gallery, and dissertation. So it's a full library.
Can we download these books?
Yes, you can download. So it's a full library where you can find everything about mosques, not only in architecture, but in all aspects or in all categories of the mosque. And then Manabir and Mosquepedia. I will go to Mosquepedia first. I want to say something that Asfar, Mosquepedia, and Manabir are 3 projects all connected together. So when you go to Mosquepedia, it's the mosque encyclopedia, where you can find all the mosques that are nominated and not nominated, shortlisted and not shortlisted. You have over 19 pages. And all of the mosques that we spoke about, you can find it here. For example, if you go to one of the mosques, it's Mohal Para Mosque. It's not, just a minute.
And if I'm not wrong, this Mosquepedia also contains mosques before the year 2000. Like it also has the Faisal Mosque of Islamabad.
Yes, Mosquepedia. Yes, Mosquepedia is an encyclopedia for mosques. So it's not specialized for a specific date or so. No, you go in Mosquepedia and you just browse whatever mosque that you want. So you can see all the details of the mosques, pictures of the...
Yeah.
Yes.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, picture of the mosques, and then the drawings, also the plan, all the architectural drawings, and you can see the map, where is it, and you can see all the details.
So I think this is a very good incentive for anyone who has designed a mosque. Even if his mosque is not shortlisted or if it doesn't get an award, it becomes part of the Mosquepedia with all the details and all the descriptions and photographs, and it is preserved in an encyclopedia, right?
Yes. The reason why Abdullatif Alfozan Award for Mosque Architecture is for everyone. So it's a universal award. So anyone can register, and you can submit whatever mosque you have. For example, you take some picture, or if you have any details, you can submit it to us, and we have a supervisor content that we have a team that revise all the content and all the information and details, and then we add it to the mosque to the Mosquepedia. So we want everyone to share, to come and register, and submit all mosques. So Mosquepedia will be the main encyclopedia for mosque. Everyone can come and share and browse. I just want to show you something here. For example, Al-Jaklar Mosque. We have here the architect, which is Emre Arulat. You can go to Emre and read about him, and you have all the information about the architect. So Manabir is our main database where you can find all architects and expertise in architecture. Also, we have the VCO, our last project, which is the Virtual Consultant Office. The Virtual Consultant Office that it's under construction. It's an office where you can, it's a virtual office where you can come, and we will be the connection between you and anything related to mosque. You want to build a mosque, you want to design a mosque, you want help in mosque. The Virtual Consultant Office will be the...
I think this is a very good initiative, because it's going to help the youngsters a lot who have an interest in designing mosques. And is this free also?
Sorry?
Is this free?
I can't hear you, sorry.
I mean, is this service free of charge, or does the person have to pay for it?
No, it's free of charge.
You see, that is the good thing about Alfozan. Everything is for free. That's the good thing. Yeah, so all those youngsters who are interested in designing mosques and who want to develop this virtual consultant service being offered by the Alfozan Award for Architecture, I think you can get a lot of help from here. You can learn a lot from here. You can build your connections. You can get to know more people internationally. So this is, you must consider this. You must go on the website and check this out. I think this is a great opportunity. And you know, the good thing is that they say that there's no such thing as a free lunch, but I can see there are some free lunches being offered by Alfozan. So yeah, that's a good thing.
Also, I want to say about I want to talk about Asfar. Anyone who has any like, for example, dissertations or images or videos of mosques, we're more than welcome to publish it in our website.
Okay, we had some more questions, but I think we don't have much time left, because it's been quite some time. But this webinar is an easy thing. We can have one more, and we have some questions regarding mosque types and about mosques. And I think we will do another session which will not be about the Alfozan's working, because we've already explained that. We will develop it into understanding mosque as a building type, and we will talk about mosques. We've got some questions about cooling and heating and typology, and there's a question about what if you don't close the walls, about the mosquitoes and all that. So these are some very relevant questions by some very good architects. But
I think they're practicing architects. They think of practical problems.
Yes. Yeah. So I think we can have another session in which we just discuss the mosque as a type, and that will be the next step. Before we wrap up, any last comment that Gemma would you like to say? Sundus, can you like unshare the screen?
Okay. I just want to show the audience where they can submit the mosques, you can go here in the award and then nomination, 4th cycle, 2020-2023. And then you go down, you can read about the cycle, the 4th cycle, and then all the categories and zones. And then here, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd step. You can submit the mosque for review.
Okay. Thank you, Sundar. That was so. Everyone, you can visit the website and you can get in touch with the wonderful team of Alfozan. It's a very dynamic team. As you can see from Sundar is representing them, but we have a list of youngsters. I can call you a youngster, right? We have a list of young architects who are very dynamic. And Dr. Fawad, you're also a youngster, so yeah, I'm calling all of you youngsters.
I try to behave like one.
No, please let me call you so that you can call me a youngster in return. I'm actually looking for that.
Oh, you are youngsterer. You are youngsterer than me.
Okay.
Like that term.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it was a pleasure. Dr. Fawad Malik from Bangladesh. It was a pleasure having you over. Jema Shediak from Lebanon. It was a pleasure having you over. Sundar Sashi from Saudi Arabia. It was a pleasure. You really enlightened us about the workings of Alfozan Award for Mosque Architecture. And let this be the first webinar, but not the last. Because we also have to bring in Dr. Mashari Al-Naim on here, who's the Secretary General, as I mentioned, of the award. And I think Dr. Mashari will also share his vision about where he wants to take this award. And so Dr. Mashari and his wonderful team, I would like to thank all of you. And thank you, gentlemen, for being here. Thank you, audience. Thank you, Pakistani young and middle-aged architects and architects from, I believe there are architects from Lebanon and Bangladesh and Saudi Arabia who are also watching this.
Watching this, yeah.
Your students. So thank you everyone for watching this, and I hope you enjoyed it. We will come again. Do give us your feedback in our comments, and if there were anything that you did not approve of or you want some suggestions, we will try and improve that. We will keep doing these webinars. So on behalf of the League of Architects Pakistan, or as LEAP as we call it, I thank you again and thank you everyone. And good night and Ramazan Mubarak to everyone.
Good night.
Good night.